You know, it could very well be Christmas. We could run this on Christmas. I doubt we're going to run this on Christmas. I doubt this will be running on Christmas. No. No Christmas. No Christmas for you. You don't get Christmas this year. You don't get Christmas because of coronavirus. Oh, you don't get a Christmas. Or something. I don't know. Can we have Christmas because of COVID? Or are we not allowed to have Christmas because of COVID? I don't know. Okay, let's go to the old Skip Skype. The old Skip Skype, the old Skype-a-rooney. Gotta find our guest. And I believe we have our guest.
Hello, good morning.
How are you, my friend?
I'm doing great. How are you doing today?
Pretty good, actually. We have got a great guest with us today. She joins us live here on our big program. And I was just debating with myself about the fact of, can we have Christmas because of coronavirus? I don't know if that's allowed. What do you think before we get going here?
I don't think it's going to be allowed. I think people are absolutely still going to celebrate it, but I don't think it's going to, be encouraged to have a big gathering of families and people. So, yeah.
We have got a great guest with us today, Maya and I'm going to get this. Is it Sintress?
Sintress, yeah.
That is awesome. That is fantastic. For over 20 years, she has ruled the school as a professional dominatrix, bondage enthusiast, fetish model, and content producer. And she joins us today here on our big program. So tell me a little bit about how you got started doing all this, my friend.
I got started back in 2000, so I'm going to date myself, being 40 years old. But yeah, back in those days, you looked through a newspaper for ads for jobs, and I saw one for a commercial dungeon, and I think I called on the phone. I don't think I emailed. I think I called and set up an interview and started working at Jade's Dungeon in Chicago, which is no longer around. And I worked there for a few years and then became an independent and opened up my own commercial space in Chicago. And since then, I started shooting adult content. I've relocated to Las Vegas. And yeah, I still do some professional sessions, obviously not many during COVID. But my focus these days is more on video production and video work. And yeah, working safely from home at my computer and shooting content by myself.
That's fantastic. So, what do you shoot with as far as video and audio and everything?
Oh, I have two Canon cameras. I'm going to mispronounce this too, but I want to say they're called Vixvia or something, or Vixia. I think I have a G10 and a G12. Debating that upgrading to 4K camera.
Everybody and their brother's doing 4K now.
Or my external hard drives will work in 4K right now. But.
Yes. Everybody and their brother wants to do this 4K stuff.
Yeah, I might wait it out and see how important it is. I feel like my camera quality is really good as is, but I don't know if I need to up my game yet or not.
That is fantastic. We have got a great guest with us today. She joins us live here on our big program here on Skype. Maya Sintress is with us. And so you got into the industry. You earned a degree in fashion. You worked on music tours. You've been in music videos. This is pretty damn cool. Tell me more about this.
I feel like I've done a lot in my life. In the early 2000s, over the summer, I would work on different music tours. I got my degree at the Art Institute of Chicago while I was working at that commercial dungeon. And yeah, I decided being a dominatrix was more fun than trying to get into the fashion industry. So I just kind of stayed with it and still enjoy it to this day. But yeah, I don't really use my art degree, unfortunately.
Well, I think that's great that you've done all this. Plus, now you're doing all this dominatrix stuff, which is pretty cool. You have performed live on stages of the different sex awards, America's Got Talent, Fetish Con, Montreal Fetish Weekend, Secret Room Atlanta, London's Rubber Ball, and I think it's great that all of those, and then in the middle of that, America's Got Talent. I think that's fantastic.
I never actually saw America's Got Talent when they contacted me about going on. So I just sit there and like look up what they were about, know what to expect. But yeah, that was an interesting show to work on.
It's like which is not like the other. When I read that whole list, that's pretty amazing. So when you got the call to be on America's Got Talent, you've already stated, you had to look them up. What once you looked them up, did you think, have they called the wrong chick?
No, I mean, I know that some of the performance stuff I do is very novelty, and they had seen some of my stuff on YouTube, and were very specific about what they were looking for, so I knew it wasn't a random sort of email asking to go on. But
yeah,
it was just like, wow, this is really normal and mainstream, and yeah, I'm like, well, why not? It seems like it'll be entertaining, so, and it was.
So did they allow you to do practices or whatever of your performance before they stuck you out there in front of everybody, or was it just, hey, let's go?
Yeah, you had to do a major run through with all the camera crew there. And the troupe I performed with, I put together a team of, I want to say 9 for that. So the funny thing is I almost missed my rehearsal. They flew us out to Minneapolis, and I also used that opportunity to do dominatrix sessions in the hotel they put me up in. So I actually had a session that was running late, and I almost missed my run through. And they were really pissed, but, gotta hustle.
So, dominatrix stuff over the last, I don't know, 5 or 6 years, I have noticed that is a big deal. Lots of people are getting into it. Lots of people are enjoying it. Why is dominatrix and fetish a big deal nowadays?
Oh, I mean, you could say I think people started getting more interested in fetish in general when that awful 50 Shades thing happened. And I think there's been an uprise of people who think that being a dominatrix is quick and easy work, and that you can make a ton of money off the bat. And I think, yeah, it just got people interested in if they could do it and make money. And especially now during COVID, there's new people popping up every day that are working online as a quote dominatrix that probably don't have a skill set or haven't seen people in person. And they're just using that word, piggybacking off of people in the industry that have put the work in, and they're trying to make a quick buck. And maybe they are, maybe they aren't. Maybe they'll continue on and keep practicing and learning, or maybe they'll realize that it's not as easy as it looks and be out of the industry. So who knows? But yeah, it's definitely on the rise, being that sort of a sex worker these days.
So the dominatrix Betty Page look, what was this done on purpose, or did this just come about and you're all of a sudden like, oh?
I've always had the long black hair and had bangs pretty much my whole life, so it just made more sense to push towards that pinup look, but doing it in the skew of me being heavily tattooed and having a different variation on the Betty Page look with that.
That's fantastic. We have got a great guest with us today. Maya Sintress joins us here on our broadcast, and she is pretty amazing. You can get more information by supporting her over at onlyfans.com/Maya Sintress. Yeah. And she's also on Avian Stars as well. And you can buy her library of over 4,000 clips on ManyVids.
So many.
Tell me about these clips that you have. You've got a hell of a lot of these.
I've been shooting for a lot of years. I'd say the categories I do best in are quote forced intox, by coercion, chastity, a lot of POV videos, cuckolding, things like that. But yeah, my library is very diverse, so there's a little bit there for everyone.
Now you have starred and been in a lot of different productions. Tell me about some of the different people you've worked with.
Oh, Las Vegas, I haven't been working with as many people. I've lived out here for a little over 2 years now. There's a few companies that I've worked with that I'd shot with for years and years that are out here. But these days, I'm just mostly working by myself to avoid, as much contact with other people as I can. My favorite group in Las Vegas to work with would have to be Severe Society. They moved out here about a year ago from California, but they're amazing to work with. There are a lot of big companies out here that shoot for the industry, but most of them are more on the porn aspect of things, which I also shoot, but my focus is more on domination and fetish.
So, shooting and being involved in Las Vegas, how is that different from where you were originally?
Oh, it's so different. Chicago's a lot more conservative. There's not many bigger companies there that are filming. Um, and in Las Vegas, it's kind of now becoming the new porn capital. Everyone's coming over here from California. So there's a lot of talent here to work with. Even thinking in the neighborhood that I'm in, looking around, I know 3 people within a half a mile that shoot porn.
That
you
is
know,
awesome.
And in Chicago, it's like I knew a handful of people that did fetish work and adult work on camera. So yeah, it's a huge difference. There's a lot more people to work with and a lot more opportunities.
Well, I think that's great because I've always been a fan of Las Vegas, so I think that's awesome that it's slowly becoming the new porn capital. You won't get any
What's
complaints
your,
out of me over that.
what's your favorite thing to do in Las Vegas?
I tell you, we go out there every year for the AVNs, and I just I love the porn industry. So I'm glad that it, like I said, I'm glad it's becoming part of the culture there in Vegas. Porn, and then you've got the Raiders. So it's like those two things just go together. It's great.
I feel like that stadium kind of popped up overnight.
You
That
know,
was
when we drove in this last this year
Mhm.
for the AVNs, I had been hearing they were building this stadium, and when we drove in and we saw it, I'm like, oh, there it is. It looks like a prison. It's fantastic.
Yeah, you land and you're like, oh, there's a huge fucking stadium right here.
Exactly.
In the middle of everything.
And supposedly the back or the front of that thing opens up. I'm like,
I read
what?
that. Uh, I want to say I read that they're starting to do tours of it now, but I don't further look into
Wow.
the details. Yeah.
And you can get more information on our guest and everything that she has. She has a free sneak peek of her content at Pornhub. Just search Maya Sinstress. She's also on Night Flirt as well. And you can get more information on her Clips for Sale store. And I love this website, myoraladdictions.com, which is great.
Yeah, myfetishaddictions.com is my other
Yes,
URL for my clubs for sale stores.
that's
But yeah.
great. Now, as a Sinstress, what are some of your fetishes that you do? Because you do a little bit of everything.
I do. My main specialty would be intricate bondage. So I like working with a lot of different mediums. I don't just stick to only rope or only latex. I like kind of combining everything and making very intricate predicament situations, making someone really anchored and fully taking over their mind and body and putting someone in that situation where they're heavily bound. And from that point, you can take it to doing whatever else you both consent to. So you could do electrical play or
Wow.
tickling or
Electrical
humiliation.
play? Explain the
Yeah.
electrical play. I've never heard of this.
You've never heard of electrical
No,
play?
this sounds so interesting, but it also sounds terribly dangerous.
Oh, no, it's not really if you're doing it correctly. There's kind of two different types of electrical play. One would be like content of Violet One, which you have probably seen in videos or somewhere before, but it's kind of like a big circular ball that glows purple.
Oh,
Uh,
okay. I think I've seen this. Okay. Yes. And you run it over them.
yeah, and you can see little kind of sparks trailing the skin coming from that bulb. And it's really fun, very visual, very sexy. Or you can use a TENS unit, which is you can put on different pulsations and speeds and intensity levels. And that's more what I use. And
Yes.
that's really fun too. It's not as visual, but yeah, you can do that. And then if you're incorporating bondage and electrical play, you can incorporate interrogation or, whatever else you want. It's really open for exploring as long as both people are consenting. There's a lot of ways you can take a scene. So, and I'd have to say no two scenes are different. So even if someone is calling, or no, no two scenes are the same. If someone's calling wanting to do the same three things of bondage, interrogation, electrical play, no two scenes are going to be the same. It's all dependent on that person's energy, what they're bringing in, their comfort level, the amount of intensity they can take. So I base scenes directly for that person based on all those aspects.
We have got a great guest with us today. Maya Sintress joins us here in our broadcast, and she is pretty amazing. She has got all sorts of different things going on. You can find her on the Twitter machine, Maya Sintress, or you can find her on the Instagram, Miss Maya Sintress. And you can get a sneak peek of her content over at Pornhub, or you can go to Sext Panther. I find this amazing that we're still texting and doing the phone sex in 2020. I would have thought that those things, along with the cable company will be by between 8 and 5, I would have think all of those would have left last decade.
It's really funny too because, during this pandemic, a lot of people are quarantined with their partners. So they still have that urge to do a phone session or a cam session, but they have to be really sneaky about it. So I can't tell you how many times someone has cammed with me, and then all of a sudden it's like, you hear a door creak. I gotta go.
That's great.
Wait, a little kink fix for 10 minutes and, have some fun and keep their mind off everything that's going on. And yeah, they have to be sneaky about it and quiet. And a lot of people have gone back to texting because they can't talk on the phone. They don't have that privacy or they can't cam. So they want to do text scenes, which is kind of annoying, but they do offer them. It's not as much of an energy exchange to feel out their personality, but yeah.
Yes.
They have to be discreet, so they're texting again.
That's great. Well, if we happen to make it out to Vegas, because I am thinking of coming out there over Christmas, which I don't know what Christmas in Vegas is like, but
we just started off asking about celebrating Christmas this year.
but if we do, I want to track you down and do an interview, because I think a video interview with you where you take us through all the different fetishes and some of your gear and everything would be so entertaining.
I've got a dungeon area and filming space set up in my house, so we could certainly do that.
Oh, that would be fun. That would be fun. Well, I appreciate you making time for us today. Thanks for being on, and I will be in touch. And have yourself a wonderful day. Thank you.
You too. Thanks for having me.
Appreciate
Take care.
Definitely. You too. There she goes. Maya Sintress. Yes, she has a dungeon in her house. Well, I've got a radio studio and a TV studio in mind, so you just never know what you got to run into. We are going to take a timeout, and when we come back, we have got more on the other side.